Spartan's illness was only the beginning, and now everything Amy has built is hanging by a thread. Heartland Season 19. Episode 6 is shaping up to be the most emotional and intense episode of the season, where trust will break, relationships will shift, and secrets will finally start to crack open. And this time, the drama isn't just about horses. It's about loyalty, reputation, and what it truly costs to protect the people you love. After the chaos of last episode, Amy is still carrying the weight of the accusations on her shoulders. Everyone in Hudson knows about the world champion's horse falling ill under her care, and while some people are quietly waiting to see how things will unfold, others have already made up their minds, and not in Amy's favor. It feels like overnight she went from being the miracle girl to someone people whisper about behind closed doors. And honestly, you can see how it's affecting her. This isn't just about business to Amy. Her work is deeply tied to her identity, her connection to her mother, her entire purpose at Heartland. So watching her walk around with that fear in her eyes, that quiet exhaustion, really hits hard. But what hurts even more is the fact that she knows exactly who is behind everything, Nathan's sister, yet she can't prove it. It's like having the truth trapped in her throat with no one willing to listen. Meanwhile, things at the ranch feel heavier than usual. Even though Jack and the rest of the family try to act normal, the tension is there. Jack wants to believe Amy without question, and deep down he does. But he's also practical enough to know that accusing someone without proof could destroy things even further. And the worst part is, Amy knows he's right. You can see the struggle in her. She wants to scream, to fight back, to defend herself. But she also knows that one wrong move could make her look even more guilty. It's a painful kind of silence. The kind that eats you up slowly, and then we have Nathan, who is completely caught in the middle. On one hand, he respects Amy, genuinely. He's seen her work, her passion, her heart. But on the other hand, he spent his entire life protecting his sister, even when she didn't deserve it. He wants to believe she wouldn't do something like this. He wants to hold on to the idea that his family couldn't possibly be responsible for such a betrayal. Watching him struggle might be one of the most heartbreaking parts of the upcoming episode, because no matter what he chooses, someone is going to get hurt. But the real turning point, the moment everything begins to unfold, will happen at the Hudson Rodeo. That's where Amy is determined to reclaim her name, not by arguing, not by defending herself, but by simply doing what she does best, working with horses in a way that no one else can. And this is where things get interesting, because the rodeo won't just be a place for her redemption. It will also be the moment where Nathan's sister's behavior becomes impossible to ignore. The way she watches Amy, the way she hovers around the horses, the way her guilt begins to crack under pressure. And trust me, once those cracks start forming, it is only a matter of time before the truth spills out. But I'm going to be honest with you. The reveal isn't going to be clean, and it definitely won't be gentle. When Amy finally forces the truth into the light, it's not just her reputation that will be affected. Nathan will be crushed. The bond he's been building with the Flemings, especially with little Lindy, will take a massive blow. And Lindy, being the sweet and incredibly observant child she is, will notice every shift in the air. She'll see Amy hurting. She'll see Nathan hurting. And she'll be the one to remind Amy that sometimes doing the right thing comes with heartbreaking consequences. But it doesn't mean the love disappears forever. This episode will not be about celebration or closure. It will be about confrontation and emotional fallout. Amy will be stronger, yes, but strength doesn't come without scars. Nathan will step back, not because he wants to, but because he needs to protect what remains of his relationship with his sister. And for a while, things will feel fractured. But that's the thing about Heartland. Healing takes time, truth takes patience, and love doesn't just vanish overnight. As the Hudson Rodeo draws closer, the pressure surrounding Amy intensifies in ways she never expected. It's like every conversation she overhears has her name in it, and every sideways glance feels like judgment. Even the clients who used to greet her with warm smiles and trust now approach her cautiously, as if simply being associated with her could bring them trouble. And what makes it all even worse is the silent guilt that follows her everywhere. She keeps replaying the events of that day in her head, over and over again, wondering what she missed, what she could have done differently, even though deep down she knows she did nothing wrong. It's a heavy kind of guilt, the kind that tries to convince you that maybe the world is right and you are the problem. Amy is strong, but she's also human, and you can feel the emotional weight slowly dragging her down. At the same time, Nathan is also trying to hold everything together, but he's failing at it miserably. He's torn between his loyalty to his sister and the connection he has been building with Amy and Lindy. You can see the confusion in his eyes every time the subject comes up. Like, he's trying to protect everyone while protecting no one at all. Lindy, being her observant little self, senses the shift immediately. She's young, but she understands feelings better than most adults do. She knows when someone is hurting, and she knows when something is wrong. So she asks questions. Not the small kind, but the ones that cut right to the core. Why is everyone upset? Why aren't you and Nathan talking? Did you do something wrong? And every time Amy tries to answer, her voice catches, because how do you explain something so complicated to a child? Yet Lindy doesn't need a big explanation. All she needs is to hear that Amy will fix it. That reassurance is enough for her right now. But for Amy, giving that promise means stepping into a storm. Meanwhile, Nathan's sister is growing restless. At first, she was confident that no one would suspect her. She thought her apology to Amy was enough to cover her tracks, enough to appear remorseful and innocent. But now she's realizing that Amy is getting closer to the truth, and that scares her. You can see it in her nervous movements and the way her tone shifts when people mention the horses. She tries to appear calm, tries to pretend she has nothing to hide, but guilt is a strange thing. It never stays silent for long. The more she tries to protect herself, the more obvious her fear becomes. And the closer we get to the rodeo, the more her emotions start to unravel. But here's where things get interesting. Amy doesn't want revenge. She doesn't want to destroy someone just to clear her name. What she wants is the truth. Clean, undeniable, and in the open. She wants to look people in the eye and know they believe her because they see the truth, not because she forced them to. So instead of confronting Nathan's sister in anger, Amy watches. She observes. She waits for the right moment. It's the quiet determination that makes this version of Amy so compelling. She's not the fiery teenager she once was. She's a woman who has lived through loss, heartbreak, responsibility, and sacrifice. She knows that rushing into things only makes them worse. So she prepares in silence, planning her next move with thoughtful patience. The rodeo soon becomes more than just an event. It becomes the stage for the truth to surface. Every major character we care about will be there, and every single one of them has something emotionally at stake. Jack wants to protect his family and restore stability. Tim, who always reacts before thinking, is ready to defend Amy at any cost if someone pushes the wrong button. Nathan is standing so close to the emotional edge that the smallest push could send him spiraling. And Amy, the heart of Heartland, walks into this event, knowing that everything she loves could change depending on what happens next. And that's the real suspense of episode 6. It's not just who will confess or how the truth will come out. It's what happens after. Because once the truth is spoken, there is no going back. Relationships will shift. Trust will break. And while Amy may walk away with her reputation restored, she could lose something far more painful. The chance at a future with someone who had slowly become a part of her life and Lindy's heart. The emotional stakes are high, and the fallout is going to linger long after the rodeo dust settles. The day of the Hudson Rodeo arrives, and the atmosphere is completely different from the cheerful energy this event usually brings. There's excitement, yes, but it's layered with tension, like everyone can feel that something important is about to happen, even if they don't know what it is. For Amy, every step she takes on that ground feels heavier than the last. She isn't just showing up to work with horses, she's stepping into a battle for her entire identity. People are watching her closely, some with curiosity, some with doubt, and a few with quiet hope that she manages to prove everyone wrong. And the only thing Amy has on her side today is her talent, her patience, and her memories of her mother's teachings. She knows that no matter what others say, the bond she creates with horses is real and cannot be faked. So she focuses on that, letting her hands move with instinct, letting her voice soften, letting her calm energy speak louder than any argument possibly could. But while Amy is trying to stay composed, Nathan is slowly unraveling. He came to support the event, to do his job and help, but being here means standing between his sister and Amy, and the emotional pressure of that is nearly unbearable. You can see the exhaustion in the way he breathes, like he's constantly bracing himself for the next emotional blow. Every time he sees Amy working, the guilt becomes sharper, because he knows what she's going through, and he knows she doesn't deserve any of it. Yet, he can't bring himself to confront his sister without something solid something undeniable, and that hesitation is what causes the distance to grow between him and Amy, not because they don't care about each other, but because they both know that the truth will destroy something, no matter how it comes out. Meanwhile, Nathan's sister tries her best to blend into the background, but there's something off about her energy. She's restless, constantly shifting her weight, constantly looking around like she's waiting for something to go wrong. She thought the rodeo would make things easier, that the attention would be on the horses, the performances, and the excitement. But instead, she feels exposed, like every eye in the crowd is secretly focused on her. And the irony is, they aren't. No one is paying attention to her. But her own guilt keeps convincing her that everyone knows. And guilt is a dangerous thing. It makes people slip. It makes them speak when they shouldn't. It makes them act when silence would save them. As Amy begins her work with one of the horses, something subtle happens. The horse reacts not with fear, not with illness, but with familiarity and confusion. It behaves differently around Nathan's sister in a way that catches Amy's attention. A small detail that could easily be dismissed by someone who didn't understand horses the way Amy does. But for Amy, that single moment is everything. It confirms what she has been afraid to say out loud, the truth she has carried silently like a stone in her chest. And now that she sees it, she can't unsee it. The horse remembers. The horse recognizes her, and Amy realizes that the evidence she has been searching for isn't a thing. It's a reaction, a behavior, something pure and natural, something that cannot be faked or manipulated. But here is where things get complicated, because exposing the truth now, in front of everyone, will not just force a confession. It will break Nathan's trust completely. It will embarrass his sister publicly, leaving scars that may never heal. And Amy knows that if she chooses this moment to reveal what she has discovered, she is choosing her career over her relationship with Nathan. The girl who once chased love with her whole heart has now become a woman who understands what sacrifice looks like. And that is what makes this moment so powerful. She isn't scared of losing business clients. She isn't scared of rumors. She is scared of hurting the one person who has quietly become important to both her and Lindy. The tension in the air thickens. Every small glance between characters carries meaning. Every word feels loaded. And the rodeo, instead of being just an event, becomes a crossroads. One path leads to Amy clearing her name and reclaiming the respect she deserves. The other leads to heartbreak and distance, a painful pause in a connection that was just beginning to grow. But Amy has always chosen what is right, even when it costs her. And deep down, she knows that the truth being revealed is no longer a choice. It is inevitable. The only question left is how much it will break before it heals. As the rodeo continues, the emotional tension between everyone becomes impossible to ignore. The crowd may be cheering, the announcer may be calling out names with excitement, but beneath all of that noise, there is a quiet storm forming. Amy keeps her focus on the horses, trying to keep her composure steady and calm, but inside, she is fighting a battle between her heart and her sense of justice. She knows that this moment could shape everything that comes next. She can either let the truth continue to rot her reputation from the inside, or she can pull it out into the open, where it will finally stop hurting her. But pulling the truth out also means hurting someone else, and Amy has never been the kind of person to cause pain just to protect herself. She remembers the lessons her mother taught her, not only about horses, but about compassion, patience, and understanding. Those memories have always guided her, and now they guide her again. But this time, the lesson is harder. Sometimes doing the right thing hurts the most. Nathan, meanwhile, is struggling more than ever. He can feel Amy pulling away emotionally, even though she hasn't said a word to him about it. It's the silence that hurts him the most. The kind of silence that says, "I don't know if I can trust you to stand with me." And that realization hits him deeply. He wants to defend her, to support her, to stand beside her the way she has stood beside others so many times. But he is still clinging to the hope that his sister could not possibly be the person Amy believes she is. He keeps remembering their childhood, the times they leaned on each other when things fell apart. He wants to believe she has changed, that she has grown, that she wouldn't sabotage someone just to protect her pride. But the more he sees her behavior today, the shifty looks, the forced smiles, the constant anxious glancing around, the more doubt starts growing inside him. And doubt is dangerous. It can tear families apart as quickly as betrayal. Nathan's sister tries to keep herself calm, but the pressure keeps building. She didn't expect Amy to come to the rodeo so prepared, so focused, so quietly powerful. She assumed Amy would crumble under the stress, show up defeated, or maybe not show up at all. But seeing Amy stand strong, working with confidence and grace, makes her guilt feel heavier. She starts to panic, afraid that eyes are on her, afraid that Amy has discovered something she can't explain away. And that fear begins to crack her carefully crafted mask. She snaps at small comments. She flinches when someone touches her shoulder. And when her eyes meet Amy's, she immediately looks away. Those little reactions don't go unnoticed. Not by Amy, not by Jack, and definitely not by Nathan. Then comes the moment that changes everything. A moment that starts out small, subtle, almost easy to overlook. Amy is working with a horse, demonstrating her calm and understanding connection, when Nathan's sister steps in just a little too close. The horse reacts instantly, ears back, muscles tense, head pulling away. Exactly the same behavior Amy saw before the horses fell ill. It is the same reaction she replayed in her mind day after day, searching for meaning. And now she sees it again, plain as day, in front of everyone. Amy's breath catches. Her chest feels tight. Because this is it. This is the proof she needed. Not a document, not a confession, but the horse's instinct. Animals don't lie. They don't pretend. They remember Amy's voice doesn't rise. She doesn't shout. She doesn't accuse. She simply speaks with a calm firmness that cuts sharper than anger ever could. She says exactly what happened, exactly what she saw, and exactly why the horses reacted the way they did. And the moment she speaks, the entire energy of the rodeo shifts. The crowd quiets. The chatter dies. Nathan's face drains of color. His sister freezes, her carefully maintained expression collapsing. For a split second, no one moves. No one breathes. The truth hangs in the air, undeniable and heavy. Nathan's sister tries to deny it at first, of course. She stammers out excuses, tries to twist the narrative, tries to say Amy is lying out of desperation. But the more she speaks, the more obvious the truth becomes. And the final breaking point arrives when Jack steps forward, standing beside Amy, not saying a word, just standing there. That silent show of support is enough. It shifts the entire room. Everyone now sees where the truth lies. Nathan looks at his sister, really looks at her, and the heartbreak in his eyes is something that cannot be described. It's the pain of losing someone you were already trying so hard to hold on to. It's betrayal layered with grief. And Amy sees it. It hurts her too, because even though she needed this truth to come out, she never wanted to be the one who caused this kind of pain. The damage is done. The truth is out. But the emotional cost is far from settled, and the fallout is about to begin. After the truth finally comes out, everything feels strangely quiet, almost like the world has stopped to catch its breath. The crowd slowly disperses, the noise of the rodeo fades, and yet the emotional weight of what just happened hangs in the air like a storm that hasn't fully passed. Amy stands there, steady on the outside, but exhausted on the inside. Clearing her name should feel like a victory, but it doesn't. Not when it comes at the cost of someone's heart breaking. She earned back her reputation? Yes. People now understand that she never neglected those horses, that she never abandoned her responsibility or her values. But the look on Nathan's face stays with her, heavy and painful. It's the look of someone who has just watched the last supportive piece of his world fall apart. His sister is exposed, his trust has been shattered, and now he's left standing in the middle of nowhere emotionally. Unsure of what to do and where to turn, Jack, as always, tries to hold everyone together. Even though he knows some wounds can't be fixed with a simple conversation, he helps Amy gather her things and reminds her, in his quiet, steady way, that the truth was necessary. He tells her that sometimes doing the right thing comes with a cost, but it doesn't make it any less right. Amy hears him, but she still feels that ache, because she didn't want to win by watching someone else fall. She just wanted to stop losing. At the same time, Tim is pacing back and forth, furious and ready to confront anyone who dares to whisper something negative about Amy again. His protective instincts are stronger than ever, but Amy gently stops him. She knows anger won't heal anything. What they need now is space and understanding, not more chaos. Nathan doesn't leave the rodeo right away. He stands alone for a while, trying to make sense of everything. His sister, overwhelmed by guilt and now unable to hide behind lies, breaks down quietly, not loudly or dramatically, just in a defeated, exhausted way. It's the kind of breakdown that shows she wasn't ready for the consequences of her choices. She never expected the truth to come out like this, and certainly not in front of everyone. Nathan goes to her, not because he condones what she did, but because no matter how badly she messed up, she's still his sister. And that makes this moment even more painful. He isn't choosing her over Amy. He's not choosing sides at all. He's simply trying to pick up the pieces of something that has been broken for a long time. Later, when the dust settles, Nathan quietly approaches Amy. There are no angry words, no accusations, no raised voices. Just a heavy silence between two people who care about each other deeply, but don't know how to move forward from what just happened. Nathan tells her, with a voice that almost cracks, that he understands why she did what she did. He knows she didn't want to hurt him. And Amy tells him that she never wanted to hurt his sister either, but she also couldn't let her career and her integrity be destroyed by a lie. They both stand there close enough to touch, but too far away to feel connected. It's one of those moments where love isn't the problem, timing is. Healing doesn't happen in a day. Lindy notices the tension right away when they return to the ranch. She asks Amy if everything is okay, and Amy, with her gentle honesty, tells her that sometimes grown-ups have to go through hard things in order to make things right. Lindy doesn't fully understand, but she knows enough to wrap her arms around her mom in quiet support. And truly, that small gesture is what finally allows Amy to breathe again. Because no matter what happens next, Amy still has her home, her daughter, her purpose, and now her name restored. The episode closes not with a dramatic resolution, but with emotional reflection. Amy looks out across the fields of Heartland, the wind gently moving through the grass, and she knows this is not the end of her story with Nathan. It's just a pause, one that gives both of them time to heal, to grow, and to figure out what love really means when tested by pressure and truth. The bond isn't broken, it's just injured. And in true Heartland fashion, healing will come with time, honesty, and patience. For more weekly breakdowns, theories, and updates on Heartland Season 19, make sure to like and follow so you don't miss the emotional turns coming next.